Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to listen to Justin Baldoni's voice note to Blake Lively at 2 a.m. Before we start to listen, my personal opinion is they're both kind of corny. I think this voice note sounds like a teenage suave boy monologue, either Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, sometimes I put my foot in my mouth and I say the wrong thing. But that's what you would expect from a male actor. I think that this is in response to the Khaleesi message where Blake Lively said, I'm Khaleesi and I have some dragons that are going to benefit you too, referring to Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, who were sat in the kitchen as Justin read her version of the script. So that's, I believe, the context for this. I got this clip from TMZ. Please let me keep it up. Thank you. And here we go.
I'm really sorry. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. We should all have friends like that.
This is about Taylor Swift.
And the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and just to force all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said. And I'm excited to go through the whole...
That's interesting. So he basically is saying, yeah, we should all have friends like that, but I didn't need that. Like, you didn't need to do that.
Movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just pissed me off.
He's trying.
I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in.
He is trying.
That is, or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me.
Wow.
That I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file.
Okay, so I have so many mixed feelings. I'm going to put this on my podcast. Link will be in the bio, which is called Mixed Feelings, by the way. I feel like he's trying to apologize for something that contractually is probably not his obligation, because my understanding is he has the rights. He's the director. He's supposed to be writing. She did not sign on with these implications that she was gonna write. So I think it is like a little bit disrespectful, and she wormed her way into it and then was like, well, my friends are Taylor Swift and my husband is Ryan Reynolds. And so now the question is, I don't know if you've seen, by the way, you can watch the rest of it on TMZ. It's like 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I think multiple things can be true at once. I'm not saying that nothing weird happened, because if I'm thinking on all spectrums, I'm trying to be open-minded, right? I think that some things in the voice note, the way he says things, can be construed as weird. Like the whole, I can't wait for our creative juices, to come together. That sounds weird. Like he said, that sounds weird. So I'm not saying that everything that she said in her complaint, especially the things that feel harassy, I'm not saying that all of those are necessarily false. I think we need more information in the whole situation. But from what we have presented in front of us, right, I can see how he can come off as trying to get into sort of a sensual space in the way he's talking. But I'm not sure if that's also necessarily true, because also I think he's trying to apologize because now he seems afraid. And I think that when someone's acting out of fear and trying to speak in a way that appeases you and is trying to sort of satisfy her creative needs so that these global superpowers don't come after him, maybe things start to come out a little weird. Because she sort of backed him into a corner, but she doesn't really have the rights to do that. So I think it's really messy. But thinking of, her talking about dragons, and oh, I'm Khaleesi, these are my dragons, talking about Taylor Swift, who, she's a superpower. Which I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift probably doesn't love being involved in this. I don't think it's a good look. I think anybody could say that. I think that the fact that Colleen Hoover, according to Demois, is retiring from writing. Yay! Round of applause. Round of applause for the best thing to come out of the situation. Apparently, she deleted her Instagram 3 days ago and fired her team. So at the very least, she's going in a completely different direction, but allegedly has retired, according to Demois, which I don't know if you guys tried to read that hideous book that was a letter to Ellen DeGeneres that wanted to be an abuse book, and then somebody thought was a good idea to make into a movie. Well, look what happens. Let this be a lesson. Let this be the Macbeth of literature, of romance, I don't even want to get into all that, but like TikTok loves that book and it convinced me to get it. And when I was trying to read It Ends With Us, I was like, whoa, there's no way this is the quality of the book that everybody's talking about, and zooming in on women in airports who are reading it like, oh, I think she just got to my favorite part. Like, I am a fiend for pop culture, so when people talk about something like that, I am interested. I was duped. And I think that, also Verity, which is another one of her books, has already been like picked up and is supposed to be a movie with Anne Hathaway starring. And I'm just like, can we not do this? Like, take this as a lesson. Stop production while you can, so you don't get into a lawsuit with all of this drama. I'm happy that she said, you know what? If I did this, let me stop. She said, quit while I'm ahead. Because even she now, I guess, is not... She originally stood publicly with Blake Lively. And she hasn't rescinded that statement. And that is why I am unsure 100% about... Because everybody on set, like, apparently unfollowed Justin. And his co-host of his podcast, who I'm mutuals with on TikTok, we don't really talk, but she used to comment on my stuff. She made a statement saying, like, the podcasts, we're not doing it anymore, and like, I'll come out with my side of the story at some point. So that is what makes me less eager to dismiss everything that she said and to like be completely on his side. Also, I think when a man can do a voice note for 6 minutes and 30 seconds, that's like a lot of like, and I put my foot in my mouth and I might say the wrong thing. That being said, he's scared. So I try to hold space for what somebody says when they're trying to sort of appease someone who is threatening Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds on them. But I digress. So Candace Owens said that this source came to her and was like, listen, nothing bad was happening until Ryan came on set. He wasn't happy with what he saw. He started to make problems, come to set every day. Then there's rewrites and that and all these things. And then, one thing that I thought was really funny, because I was forced to see Deadpool. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm not the type to really see Deadpool. Like, I think a man took me to see it. I don't remember what man. I doubt we talk anymore. But I did see Deadpool. It was very long. It was not that funny. And this is what I'm saying. I don't think that either of them are very funny. Like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. I don't think their humor doesn't really click with me. That's personal, I guess. I know they're very commercial. They're concerned with commercial success. If you saw, she in her text, she was like, we want this to be a commercial success, we need to have a certain aesthetic, which I think she was talking about losing weight, which is like, okay. And then they chose that wig. Whatever. That wig to me is like a crime. But that's not my business. I didn't even see the film, and I can't. I could, and by can't, I mean I choose not to. Like, I have so many streaming services, you guys. I have the ability to watch it for free, and I just can't bring myself to do it. I could watch it for free right now. I won't. And look at that wig. Why would I do that to myself? And all I would be thinking about is this situation. I also thought, like, is Ellen DeGeneres gonna be in this movie? Like, if not, then why did you write her into it and put me through that? I digress. I think people are saying that Ryan got super jealous of the late night voice memos and like, oh, I would fall in love with Justin too. I'm not sure if I'm on that side. I'm not sure if I can see where that's coming from. But according to Candace Owens, who I do not agree with, like, most of what she does politically. So take everything she says with a grain of salt. But she does kind of eat when she does entertainment stuff, and she should just stick with that and stop trying to make people alt-right. But somebody said that's how it works. They get you with the gossip, and then they bring you to alt-right. So be sensitive, be careful. Be careful. Watch out, okay? But she does have the intel, so we are going to address it with a grain of salt. There was a reference in Deadpool to Justin Baldoni that Ryan put in, and then I thought back to it and I was like, oh, I know exactly what that is and exactly what he's talking about. And it's almost a funny bookmark moment. That was maybe the funniest part of the whole movie, was like the man bun version of him that like has a feminist podcast and looks like Justin Baldoni when he had a man bun and, you know, he had a feminist podcast. And apparently it's a reference and making fun of. And it's, like, funny. I wonder if Justin caught that before. I'm sure he did. How could you not? Maybe he didn't see it. I wouldn't have if I had the choice. I don't know. It wasn't funny to me. It was very long. Excessively long and not dry. It's not dry humor. I love dry humor. Dry humor to me is The Office, Parks and Rec, like I guess Arrested Development, maybe Broad City, like Jesse Eisenberg. I don't find Ryan Reynolds fun. Anyway, that's a different conversation. So people are saying it's all because of his ego, and then he didn't like the connection that he was seeing between Blake and Justin. And then have you seen that clip of them slow dancing? And that's the context of the, oh, you smell so good. They were acting, and she wanted to talk. Originally, it was supposed to be silent, just dancing. And she's like, no, I think it's romantic if we, like, she says that on camera for all to see now. Like, all this stuff is getting, and this is why the lawyer was like, oh, into oblivion when asked if they're going to sue her. Oh, into oblivion. What a bar, first of all. The lawyers these days are sassy. They're sassy, and I'm living for it. Because I grew up on The Good Wife. And some of you haven't seen The Good Wife, and it shows. Okay? It shows in your character, in your maturity level. Grow up. Grow up. Watch The Good Wife. I'm not even saying The Good Fight. The Good Wife. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? If you haven't seen The Good Wife, I do question your character. Also, Parenthood. And the reason I really am into the person I'm seeing is because we were watching, I just put it on as like one of my comfort shows. And the person I'm seeing goes, oh, Parenthood is a classic. Correct. Correct answer. Yes. Parenthood, The Good Wife, classics. Those should be your favorite white lady brunette actresses. Okay? Lauren Graham and what is Alicia's name? Juliana Margulies. See, I know things. Anyway, I'm like, is there any crossover in that show? Because it feels like there would be, like, between actors, but I digress. You should watch The Good Wife if you haven't already. And my point was, they're giving Good Wife sassiness, like, Good Wife courtroom sassiness, like, into oblivion, John. It's my favorite type of entertainment. Legal slay. But I digress. I can't keep digressing. That's just me having a bad attention span. That's what I would say. That's what I would comment as an audience member right now. Listen, do I believe that Blake Lively fell in love with Justin Baldoni on set? No. Can I see it? Sure. Do I understand the point that people are making? Yes. Do I think that's what happened? Not really. Not really. I don't know. I think they're actors. Like, people are like, yeah, and actors fall in love all the time. And that's true, but I just don't think that's what happened. Like, I know that's, like, an easy story to spin and, like, understand. I do believe that Ryan Reynolds inserted himself and his ego in a way that it became inseparable, like, this legal case and his ego. And he was like, well, now I need to sue the man who sends my wife voice notes at 2 a.m., but she was texting him at 1:50. She sent him a text message 10 minutes before. And that's why he sent the voice memo. And it's like, the lawyers do have all of this evidence as, like, okay, this was all in response to something she said, and she cut a lot of things out of context, and then people are saying, you know, oh, she obviously fell in love with him, and then he said, I'm not attracted to you, and then so she did this. But then some people are saying, no, she fell in love with him, and then Ryan Reynolds saw that, and then he did this. I do think that, here's what I think. I think that both Blake and Ryan thought that they could kind of bully Justin into, like, getting the writing half the movie when they were not supposed to be doing that. Which I do think is whack. I think that's, like, fundamentally whack, which is why somebody at the award show was like, directors should have the final cut. That shouldn't be a crazy thing to say. Which I just think that makes sense to me. That makes sense. I think Blake wants to spin this like, oh, nobody believes in me because I'm a woman. No, I just think you're not that funny, babes. Like, and that's okay, but I've never seen one interview of her being funny. I've seen a lot of her, like, jokes not landing, and I saw one recently that is burned into my brain indelibly. She's talking to, I think his name's Jason, but I can't remember the actor. He's in Herbie Fully Loaded, which was my favorite movie as a kid. The Swoopy. I think his name's Jason something. Comment down below what it is. And he's in Just Not That Into You. Again, Swoopy. Swoopy, shaggy hair guy. You know who I'm talking about. Herbie Fully Loaded. You should know who I'm talking about. And it's like a camcorder video from, like, 2000s. And Blake Lively is, like, pre-nose job. Like, probably Sisterhood of Traveling Pants era. And she's like, you know, guys, I'm a nerd. And swoopy hair actor guy is like, oh, I hate when girls say that they're nerds. Or I hate when hot girls say that they're nerds. Like, some of us are actual nerds. And she's like, no, you guys don't get it. When I was in high school, me and this girl, we went to the arcade, and I covered myself in self-tan, and, like, a Scary Spice wig, so people would think I was, like a black girl. And she's, like, laughing so hard as she's saying it, and, like, her voice level does dip down a little bit when she says like a black girl, because it's like 2001 or something. It's probably not 2001, it's probably like 2005 or something. But it's awkward, man. And she was like, so they thought I was like a black girl so that they wouldn't know it was us and we could spy on our crushes. And she thought that was hilarious. I think that's blackfishing for a bad reason too. Not that there's a good reason to do it, but I'm currently reading Cersei, and it's that whole not a good enough reason line in italics burns in my brain sometimes because Cersei's really deep. I love Madeline Miller. I just finished Song of Achilles and it's fire. So now I'm on Cersei and I'm burning through it, man. It's so good. I love Greek mythology stuff. Like, if I were to go back to school for something, it would be something so, like, not irrelevant, but, like, irrelevant in the sense of, like, what am I going to do with it as a job in society other than preach random shit and talk about random things that I know. But I would go and, like, study, like, Greek mythology or Greek, or I don't know. What do you do? The classics? Like, how do you, I don't know. I would find out. And I would give you the exact right answer. That's Kelly from The Office. Yeah, I do think it's sad that he had to sit in the basement during the premiere. But I don't know. I'm not saying that she's completely wrong because you don't want it to be like a repeat of Amber Heard. I need more from her personally. Like, right now we're hearing a lot of, like, Justin's voice. But also we are just getting stuff from his side. So it's hard. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that right now the materials we have are making it look like he was pretty innocuous. But I can also see how it could be taken a little over a barrier, but I don't know, it's hard. When somebody texts you like, I'm Khaleesi, my dragon Taylor Swift could eat you at 1:50 a.m., can you be fully persecuted for what your voice note says at 2 a.m.? Do you know what I'm saying? So we are seeing that the context has been mishandled. And according to Candace Owens' source, all of this is because Ryan Reynolds was not happy. And then he started writing things into Deadpool, which is hilarious. More funny than the movie. But if all of this is just to end Colleen Hoover's writing career, I guess I'll take it. I still think it's been an excessive amount of time. But I don't know. What I've heard is that, unfortunately, Wayfair Studios is, like, owned by a billionaire who's, like, pretty liberal or something. But because he's gotten dragged into it, like, Ryan accidentally is suing him. And he's like, oh, you're not going to take advantage of me. I don't think it's going to go well for Blake and Ryan, unfortunately, for them. Like, I'm not sure if Blake Lively has more evidence coming out, more things on, like, more material things, because everything we got originally now is being shown, the context of it and the things that were said in, like, clips and voice memos, and Justin is very charming, so it's like, it's not looking good. And if Wayfair is owned by a billionaire who's now coming after Ryan, I just feel like Ryan's ego is, like, getting in the way of everything. Also, I think he asked for a gag order. I don't know. And clearly it didn't happen because things are coming out. Videos are coming out. Full footage. 6.5-minute voice notes, which is like, how do they get that stuff? That's above my pay grade. That's above my pay grade and simply didn't come across my desk. So don't expect me. I'm just kidding. But how are you? How are you doing? I think that's it for right now. I'm trying to be consistent. Is it working? Subscribe, please, if you're not subscribed. And send this to a friend, you know, I'm trying to, like, be a YouTuber. Help me. Okay, live, laugh, love. Bye, love you.